Gee, Wally, Dad and Mom are going to be upset when they find out that you have a slave girl and Dad doesn't have one yet. I mean, is that like every 12-year-old boy's dream come true mom who says, we can't let our kids fall into some sort of fornication. That's why I got my son a new sex slave. Excuse me? This comes back to the spoils of war. If you think that the world is going to continue to rotate and we all basically think alike, you are wrong. Hey, slavery is better than getting your head cut off on the battlefield. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, it's the humane thing to do. No, again, I don't think so. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but not too old-fashioned, like 7th century old-fashioned. Can I ask you a question? As we started looking into this over the last couple of days, I asked my team, did you guys know this? I mean, that's the accepted position on slavery by all the scholars and experts on the Quran, and it's kind of the spooky, darker places in the Middle East? I didn't. I knew about the 12th Imam. I could tell you about the 12ers. I could tell you all about it. I can tell you about all kinds of stuff in the Middle East. This one? No. We've been fighting radicalized Islam for a decade. And we have something big like this we still have to learn about? Okay. I think we're in trouble. I don't think we really know who these people are. We might want to go slow. Let's not. What do you say we don't arm them? Let's just keep that between us. Let me ask you this. Where are the voices of condemnation on the increasing bigotry that is on videotape coming out of the Middle East? Like this.
الشذوذ تحطيم الشاذ. لهذا أيها الإخوة الشذوذ عقابه القتل.
اللواط اذا ثبت يرمى من مبنى عالي.
طب انت شو بتعمل فيهم؟
انا حقيقه يعني استخسر فيهم الاعدام. والله هؤلاء ينبغي في الواقع ان يوضعوا في مكان عام ويجلدوا ويؤدبوا حتى يعني.
Now may I ask you this question. I'm a white Christian Mormon male. I'm in the biggest hate group of all time. White, Christian, Mormon, male. Why is it that it takes me to point this incredible hatred out night after night? Why am I the guy pointing this out? Because I'm supposed to be the crazy bigot. Why isn't everybody showing this? Why isn't this news? Why isn't this the battle cry for LGBT groups? How about GLAAD? GLAAD was Johnny on the spot when Kobe Bryant called a referee a gay slang term. These are religious leaders. They're openly calling for the stoning of homosexuals, and we're helping them. Our president is saying, let's sit down with those guys. What do you say we sit down? Let's put this into perspective. The world is at a tipping point. The population, the Muslim population, is expected to increase from 1.6 billion people in 2010 to 2.2 billion by 2030. These are the people that are involved in the Arab Spring. They're about to affect the entire world. Before we run to arm, support, or organize them, with these kinds of numbers, maybe we should just pause for a second and try to sort out the good and the evil. What do you think? Back in a minute. I'm just trying to... Aaron, do we have a red piece of chalk? Yeah. Because I think... How many jobs? What are the jobs?
There it is.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a... What do you think? Does that work?
Yeah.
That'll do?
You got it.
Good.
Good. Perfect, man.
How many...
Thank you.
How many jobs do you create? Percentage during the recession?
June 2009, about 48% of all the jobs created in America were in Texas.
Thank you, sir.
Come add to it.
Thank you. Would love to. All right. I have no idea who that man was. That's not the candidate you were looking for. All right, I have some good news for you. The Senate Armed Service Committee just approved the next Secretary of Defense. He's fantastic. If I told you that we had a guy that was, okay, kind of a socialist, kind of not really strong in defense, but he could be unanimously endorsed, what would you say, huh? Full Senate's going to vote on this nomination next week. No date has been set. We got him. He's transitioning from his post at CIA. Now, he leaves a legacy behind him of a revolutionary, groundbreaking leader. He was the only CIA chief to get all of his information from watching the news on television. He was sitting in front of the House Intelligence Committee. He said, this is during the midst of the Egyptian riots back in February. Watch this. This is brilliant. Watch.
I got the same information you did, that there is a strong likelihood that Mubarak may step down this evening.
He didn't know, but he only had the full resources of the CIA. Senior intelligence official was left to clean up the mess, saying that he was, quote, clearly referring to press reports. His statements were not based on intelligence reports, of course not. He also gave America a fresh new take on the Muslim Brotherhood. While most people believe the Muslim Brotherhood leaders, you know, when they said if they gained power in Egypt, their first order of business would be declare war on Israel and wipe them off the mat. Not this guy. No, not worried about the Muslim Brotherhood. Here he is.
This is not a monolithic organization. It's an organization that goes back to the 1920s. And it varies from area to area. And so it's very difficult to kind of say, okay, you know, they are extremists.
Yeah. Varies from area to area. Some areas, they play pinochle. That's all they do. Some, okay, they want to kill the Jews at all costs, you know. But extremists, pinochle. Kill all the Jews. We don't know. So I'm looking forward now to him being the Secretary of Defense, because he's going to bring that same revolutionary kind of intelligence, you know, he's going to bring that cable news philosophy with him. You know what? I know he prefers CNN, but Leon, I mean, just in case you're watching now, Coke over Pepsi. Also, Muslim Brotherhood, bad. So, take him seriously, because he's a serious dude. The president doesn't need any more logs on the fire in the Middle East, I'll tell you that right now. And he's going to be great at the Secretary of Defense. Does anyone find it odd that he's going from the CIA secretary to the Secretary of Defense? And we have General Petraeus replacing him at the CIA. I don't think I've ever seen that flip before. We look back in the records, it was 1973. I can't figure it out really myself, because this guy's really, I mean, he's a leftist. He's not a big military guy. He was a budget numbers geek in the Office of Management and Budget during the Clinton administration. And nothing screams Secretary of Defense quite like debits and credits. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not sure what's going on here exactly. And so I'm not going to speculate. I instead am going to let one of the terrorists from the Weather Underground, Mark Rudd, I'm going to let him speculate. But not today. He speculated right after Obama got elected. Listen to this. Quote, Obama had to basically play to the center, not be run over. He has a narrow mandate for change. The economic agenda will stress stimulation from the bottom sometimes and handouts to the top at other times. Isn't that amazing? That's what he said right after he got elected. The terrorists from the Weather Underground knew. I mean, he's nailed it so far. Then he says, move on the small stuff, but to a small and significant extent, gain support and confidence. Leave the military alone because they're way too powerful. By the second or third year of this recession, however, when stimulus is needed at the bottom, people may begin to discuss cutting of the military budget. If security is being increased through diplomacy, hey, all we want to do is 1967 lines, that's it. Or the application of international law. I'm just saying a responsibility to protect. But one thing, he goes on to say, I do know, is that you'll have to be able to look like you're doing one thing, but do another. Again, that's a weather underground terrorist. I mean, this president, gets his weather from the Weather Channel. He knows nothing about these guys. It's weird. If you watched the debate just last night, I think it was a guy who was in the Navy, I think. He was asking a question. And he said this, quote, "We have issues at home, and we have to reduce our expenditures." Isn't that weird? Like a Navy guy saying, hey, we should. Do you think that Mark Rudd got this one right? Who knows? All you have to worry about it, you just trust the senators, okay? Because the senators are going to look into this. And in case they don't worry. We've got 13 shows left, and there are plenty of people in the mainstream media that will follow this story for you. Trust. President's in Puerto Rico today. He should get out more. Seriously. Travel the world. See, take some time off, Man, nothing going on. Did you hear the strange story? I saw it today before I came in. That there's a new report out that says gold may be $5,000 an ounce. Can you imagine what the chaos of this planet has to be for it to be at $5,000 an ounce? Not going to be pretty. Not going to be pretty. Oh, and the whole debt ceiling thing. But don't worry about it. I hope he gets a chance to, shoot some hoops down there in Puerto Rico. We have an interesting story from the FBI today. Activists on the left are upset and crying foul over an FBI probe into their dealings. In Chicago, FBI agents took boxes of books, family photos, artwork, and personal letters in last September's raid of the home shared by Stephanie Weiner. Now, no relation that we know. Have we checked, Tiffany? Okay, no relation to Anthony Weiner, and I also have no idea if there's any Weiner pics. I don't know if she's taken pictures of her in a gym or anything else. Okay, her husband, he's Mr. Weiner. I don't know if Mr. Weiner is, I don't want to know. The agents seem more interested in the home base business and not the Weiner pics. These guys are interested in their revolutionary lemonade stand, which strangely sells no lemonade. Isn't that weird? Instead, sells silk-screened infant bodysuits and other clothes with just very precious socialist slogans and phrases. And I got to tell you, there is nothing I want more for my baby than a bib that says Fidel's special little comrade or something like that. Wouldn't that be adorable? Would you go?